Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. This is my podcast that you are listening to right now. Thank you for that. Appreciate you taking some time to listen to this podcast right now. Each and every week we're talking to interesting guests that I come across in life and going on a little deep dive of their lives. We have, we got some things to go over this week, though. We got some things to talk about before we get to the episode, and I just want to start, kind of hashing through them. First and foremost, I have been, creating some video podcasts for the past, 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, around there. I have been recording video for the podcasts. I've been editing the video, and I've been posting it on YouTube. But I think, I know that I am making some changes because it is an undertaking that I am just not ready for. I just do not have the bandwidth to edit all this video footage in a timely fashion. So I'm still going to take some video, but we're going to, I'm kind of going to divert. This stuff takes a crazy amount of time. We're always going to have the audio version of this podcast for free as you are listening right now, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, whether it's on Spotify, you're listening, and these will always be free. But I am going to start putting the video ends of the podcast on my Patreon. I think that is going to be the best way to make that a realistic type of obligation to work into my life. It's a beast to do, to try to put out a video podcast each week along with these episodes. And ultimately it's been, compromising the quality of the product. I've had to skip weeks just because I haven't been able to get around to editing the full video of that episode. And I didn't want to put out an audio episode and not put out a video along with it. So I was just like, I'll skip this week and I'll get it done for next week. But I just don't really like doing that. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 6 years and it's been audio only, and I'm just going to kind of go back to that. And I'm going to use this video that I'm going to start taking to put out some content to be able to add into some of the incentives for people to back me through Patreon monetarily, because if you don't know what Patreon is an ability, or is a website that will give you the ability to donate X amount of dollars to me each month. It's a subscription. It's just a way to say thank you for me to put out this podcast. And usually other creators, other podcasters, other creators have different tiers that you use in Patreon, that whether it be, you donate this amount of money and you get this, you donate this. Mine is just going to be something different. I am going to hash this out, but I'm going to use this video content to, just kind of provide some extra to the people that are, backing me through Patreon, because, I'm going to put in some extra time to make this shit happen. And I don't know, time is money, I guess. I always talked about, not putting anything that I create behind a paywall, but realistically, this shit takes time. And honestly, I'm not getting, crazy views on YouTube, and I'm not like complaining about it. I know that I just started putting video content out on YouTube, and I'm not really, grinding at it that heavily, but it's just a massive undertaking for not that much reward. So that juice really ain't worth that squeeze right that way. So we're still going to have the audio podcast, and that's just going to be a way for me to, put podcasts out more regularly, so I don't have to skip weeks. So it's a little bit easier on me, and it's just going to make it, it's just going to make it go a little bit better, run a little bit more smoothly, going to make my life go a little bit easier, and I'm excited for that. That being said, if you are someone that wants to, you want to get down with this guy running this podcast, and you want to partner up, you want to promote a business that you have, you want to promote events that you have, things like that, I am going to be offering, advertising space on the podcast. I'll be offering, sponsorships, so to speak, like that. Get in touch with me. I'll call you right back at gmail.com. Reach out, DM me, let me know. We'll talk. I'm negotiable. I just want to work with some good local businesses. And if you see an opportunity for me to help you with my podcast, I would love to do that. If we are, of like-minded, if we're like-minded people, rather, I would love to work with you. I get the opportunity to put some light on a lot of great businesses around the city, and I don't know. I created somewhat of a network here. I created a network of a lot of people that enjoy, this niche sort of, entrepreneur business podcast. I was trying to think like how you would categorize what I do. Like, someone this weekend asked what my podcast was like how do you kind of describe it? And I tell everyone, I talk to interesting people about what they do and how they got to that point in life, but it's ultimately like an entrepreneurial podcast. This is a business podcast. This is a documentary podcast. And I don't know. It's cool. It's a good way to get a broad sort of audience if you're trying to advertise your business. We get a lot of different people that listen to this podcast because each guest is from a different walk of life each week. 1 week we have a rapper. 1 week we got a funeral director. 1 week we got a maple syrup guy. We're really talking to different people. But this week, the guest of honor, someone that is more important than most of the guests on this podcast, to be completely fair. Bryan Scagline is someone that I could truly call someone that's my best friend. I have been friends with Bryan since 2005. And pretty, like I said, best friends. He's in my wedding. I spend a lot of time with him, and we are we're just out here getting it. And Bryan was a previous guest on the podcast 6 years ago. I believe his date was April 18th, 2018. And Bryan came on the podcast back then to talk to me about working for a company called Kendama USA. So Kendama USA is a company that was known to be the biggest company of a toy called a kendama, which is ultimately a elevated version of a ball in a cup. Sorry for anyone listening to crudely make that comparison, but the people that don't know what the kendama is, you could Google it right now. It'll give you an idea. Kendama. But Bryan was on years ago to talk about working in the kendama world as someone who had a regular job and that was trying to transition from a regular corporate life into working a full-time job in the world of kendama. Bryan is an avid player. He is someone who has been an active member in the kendama community for many a year now. And Bryan is back 6 years later to talk to me about becoming a professional kendama player. You heard it right. 6 years later, our episode is, it's a long time coming. Bryan Scagline is a professional kendama player for Krom Kendamas. Krom is one of three huge kendama brands. There's Kendama USA, there's Sweets, and there's Krom. And these all have their own strengths. These all have their own, flavors, their own styles. And Bryan ultimately works for Krom. And personally, that's sort of my style. Like, I like Krom. I like the Krom brand. I like, kind of what they stand for. I like, the branding that they have. But Bryan came over to talk to me about his journey into, turning this hobby into a passion that he has been grinding at for over a decade, to ultimately become a professional kendama player. Like, this guy has a pro model. You know how, like, you've heard of professional skateboarders have a pro model skateboard. Bryan Scagline has a professional model of Krom Kendamas. You can get them online right now, Krom Kendama, Krom. But I want you to take a seat. I want you to sit back. I know this was a long intro. We had some stuff to talk about, but I want you to sit back and listen to my conversation with Bryan. Like I said, this is a person that means more to me in my life than, many of other people. I love him so much. I'm so very proud of him for all the hard work that he has put in over the years. And it's so amazing to see him just really get what he deserves in this world, because he's really just someone. I mean, granted, I'm not a big kendama guy, but from afar, he looks like someone that is a mover and a shaker in the kendama world. Always a great guy, always in the mix of things, and I'm just very proud that he is finally getting his flowers. They are absolutely deserved. And this is a fantastic conversation about the entire world of kendama, about how a pro model gets made, about his transition from kendama companies to other kendama companies, and how someone ultimately, makes this a big part of their life. So congratulations, Bryan. If you're interested in checking out his pro model, Krom Kendamas online, you could buy one now. It is just restocked after it sold out the first time. So grab one while you can. You already know I got mine here. And I hope you enjoy the episode. So without further ado, episode 273 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with pro kendama player, Bryan Scagline.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. You excited?
Hello. Yes.
It's been a long time.
Episode 14.
I know. I was going to wonder if you looked or not.
It's stuck. Yeah, I looked a few times. Yeah, because you're on episode what?
You'll be like 273.
That's wild.
long ago. It was almost 6 years. April. I think it was like April 7th. Actually, I took a screen grab of what it was, because very interesting that it was that long ago.
I don't know what it's so tacky. It feels like yesterday. It honestly does.
April 12th, 2018.
That's so. I lived in Atlanta, so I was back for like Christmas or whatever around the time that was. I lived in Atlanta and came back.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and I was home for like a little window. You're like, come over. I was like, yeah.
Our lives changed pretty drastically.
Big time.
We both are homeowners now.
Yeah.
We both have better jobs than we did.
Yeah.
You're a professional kendama player.
Yeah.
Long time coming.
Yeah.
And we've grown, and I think that is a good positive.
Dude, on the way here, I was thinking about it. I was like, as soon as you got your license, like we probably talked about it like years ago too. But as soon as you got your license,
cruising,
picked me up. You're the first person you talk to my mother and be like, Bryan and I are going to go to the movies or wherever the hell we were going. You had to get like consent from Carol to drive around. But yeah, dude, it's a day one type thing.
Century 3 Mall and South Hills or Southland 9 movie theater.
Straight up.
Just a couple of young kids, young and dumb, but we had heart.
Trying to figure it out.
Just trying to figure out life.
That's all it is.
And now we're here talking about your accomplishments, your accolades.
At Call You Right Back Studio. It's beautiful in here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was done whenever you were here before. Was it?
I've seen the studio before, just when we came over for like Friends Miss and whatever. But last time we did this, it was straight up next to the AC unit on your couch.
Yeah, that was rough. Hot as hell.
This is nice. Feels good in here. It looks good in here.
Well, I'm glad. I'm excited to have you, and I'm excited to talk about your accomplishments, Bryan. It's a long time coming. You're obviously a kendama player, a professional now.
Yeah.
To start it off, though, I need you to explain to people that might not know what kendama is.
Yeah. Kendama is the best. It's a Japanese skill toy that's been around for centuries.
Do you know when it started?
Centuries ago. I mean, I don't want to get roasted in the comments or anything just to be wrong, but it's like centuries.
Yeah.
And it existed in like 3 separate pockets. There was like in Japan, it was the kendama, and that's what we play now. It was the ball, 3 cups, and you try to get it onto the spike.
Grab one of them out of your little knapsack. One of your throwaway kendamas. We ain't gonna bust out this boy yet. We're gonna do a little unboxing in here. Okay. Oh wow, little eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kendama.
Kendama.
For anyone that's listening, hop over to the YouTube, hit subscribe, watch the video so you can get some visuals on this.
Is that good shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it originated kind of like in 3 areas around the world. There was the kendama that originated in Japan. There was the bolero that originated in Mexico. That was like a handle, and it was kind of like a circular thing on a rope, and you would just like swing it onto the peg. There was no cups or anything. That was the bolero. And then in England, I want to say, there was the bilboquet, and that's where it's like this tall. It almost looks like a lamp. Like there's a bunch of grooves and stuff, like a table leg or something. And that's kind of the same thing. You just swing the ball onto the spike. But Japan had like the 3 cups, and theirs were used in like schools. So they would use like practice hand-eye coordination, dexterity, that type of stuff. They would practice in like schools and whatnot. So it was a part of like their everyday life. It would be as common as if you went to like my dad's office and saw like a baseball on his desk or something. You would go somewhere in Japan and see a kendama potentially on like a CEO's or like somebody who works in an office, like on a shelf or something. But it's a huge part of their culture. Fast forward to like, let's say what 2000, let's say early 2000s.
Yeah, like when did this have like a resurgence?
It came in kendama history, it started to like spread out into America from Pittsburgh, specifically Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, specifically Willie's Ski Shop that's in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, because like I said, kendamas, it existed in Japan since the beginning of time. So at Willie's Ski Shop, there's a guy named Colin Sander. He worked in like the stock room or whatever at Willie's. And Willie's had a ski team or pro team or whatever it was at the time. And they were like traveling around and out of overseas and like in Japan, like traveling, making like ski edits and like videos. And when they were over there, they had kendama in some of the videos, just like during like lag time, downtime, whatever, kind of just hanging out. And the kendamas made their way in the video. They were fun, just like a cool, unique, memorable thing from Japan. They brought a bunch back. And they brought them to Willie's, like the ski team, and Colin and a bunch of the guys that worked there started just like playing with them frantically. And then they started like making videos, and because originally when it is still used in schools today, but tricks were very much like the purpose was for like dexterity and hand-eye coordination. So you would like pull it up, balance the kendama on the ball, hold it for like X amount of seconds, and then you spike it.
Yeah.
And it was like almost like a disciplinary type thing, just like control.
Yeah, very minimal fluctuation.
Yeah.
It was like walking the dog, and compared to like splitting the atom.
Exactly.
For the yo-yo heads out
for
there.
the yo-yo peeps out there. And then naturally, once it came to America, we just Americanized the shit out of it, where it was like, yes, balance it on the ball, but flip it, make it spin, spike it faster, and just like add lines to it, and just
This is
like
early
put it out there.
2010s?
Yes, I would say like early 2000s, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So Mount Lebanon, the people at Willie's, those were the first ones that brought it around here.
Yeah, straight up. There's probably other areas in the world where kind of like people have had, because even like friends over the years, like visiting colleges and stuff, they've been like, holy shit, my grandfather has one of those. He was ever, and they have like little teeny ones that actually kind of, I brought some of those as well, just like what a kendama would look like years and years ago. This is like what it would look like.
Oh my goodness. This is like a replication of like an old one.
That's one from Japan. That's like I would say like dollar store type, kind of like not even mid tier, just like
Is
bad.
it still called a kendama?
Yeah, kendama.
Any of the ones with the 3 cups and the spiker kendama,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Wow.
Kendama, ball in a cup. Shit, sometimes it's like, oh, is it a yo-yo? Yeah, sure.
Whatever you want it to be.
Exactly, yeah.
So these guys got this whenever they went over there and started filming, winter extreme sports, and
Yeah.
it just like organically seeped in.
No intention of just like, because dude, like literally imagine like finding this
Yeah.
and being like, I'm gonna go fucking pro. Like, no, over time it was just like, they bounce on the spike or bounce on like the cup and just kind of like play with it.
So who do you think the first person was around here that brought these back? Like, was it Colin?
Colin Sander did it. Colin Sander is credited to be the godfather of kendama, and anybody in the kendama world would agree with that.
That's like across the board?
Across the board, yeah, Colin Sander. And he's from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. And then Zach Yord also is a piece of that as well. And Turner Thorne. That was like the first kendama pro team ever. Because again, before in Japan, it was a school. It was a tool that they used in education. But in America, it's like, imagine us hanging out like with a skateboarder in your parents' basement, just like pissing around, like filming. That's what they were doing with this. And it kind of caught on. And then, I don't want to jump around too much, but then Kendama USA started sprouting up too in Georgia. And they saw some of the videos Colin was making and stuff online. And he was like, hey, I like kendama. I have kendama.
So before we even get too far into that, though, whenever they bring this back and they just start messing around with this, was there kendama companies? Was Kendama USA, for people that are listening, Kendama USA was what, the first one that was like kind of mainstreaming it?
One of the first kendama company in America, yes, is Kendama USA. But prior to that, like in Japan, there's the JKA, which is like the Japanese Kendama Association, which is like the MLB, like the Major League Baseball. It's that. So they've been around forever.
Yeah.
But the first company that was like, let's make wild colors, let's get people into this, to take it beyond like a tool you would learn in school, it was definitely Kendama USA. And then Sweets Kendamas and a bunch of Krom Kendamas started sprouting up after that around the world.
And whenever he brought that back here, was Kendama still around? Like, when did Kendama USA start? Do you have any idea?
Kendama USA started, I want to say like 2011, but probably even a little bit before that, maybe a lot before that. But because Kendama USA originally was like a box of kendamas that this man named Jeremy had that he would just kind of like sell and mail to people. Because before, if you wanted to buy a kendama, when I started playing in 2010, what the hell, when I started playing kendama 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's 2012.
Yeah. So like 2012 was like I started like playing kendama, and back then Kendama USA existed, but a few years before that, to buy a kendama, you'd just go to like a website, go to Google, type in kendama, use a translator or something, try to buy them. You would spend like $30, $40 on a kendama, and you hope that it showed up like 3 weeks later or something from overseas.
Wow.
So they're hard to get. So Jeremy was a photographer in Atlanta, Georgia. He's the founder of Kendama USA. And he saw the videos Colin and his friends were making in Pennsylvania. And he was like, I have kendamas. I'm familiar with what this is. We should make a team or something. Let's work together and like really kind of combine forces. And that's what they did. So fast forward now, that's kind of what Kendama USA is. And that's what a lot of kendama companies kind of like their root story is like some friends hanging out, connection. It's like, let's fucking do this.
So whenever this started to become like, whenever it started to catch on a little bit more, how does that progress? If you had just one small company that was kind of making this a little bit mainstream, how does it catch on from there? How does it evolve from just like a dude with a couple boxes to it being in, places like Zoomies and shit now?
Yeah, it kind of just started from almost like early influencers before they were influencers, because Jeremy saw something in Colin and he was just like, do you have friends that are interested in this? And then Zach Yord was like kind of into kendama.
Shout out Devil Wears Prada.
Exactly.
Well, I remember that video of them guys, like where Zach threw that ball up over that statue and like caught it. Was that like one of the first edits that kind of came out?
That was the very first ever pro team, because that's what Jeremy and Colin decided to do. They were just like, you like kendama, I like kendama, you're pretty good at this. Let's make a team. Let's make a fucking pro team and make signature models. That's never been done before in kendama history. So Kendama USA was the first to do that, like make a pro team. But that's even pro has developed so much more than what it was then. Because before it was like, I don't want to say kendama was fun, but it was more jokey. Like, oh, I got on the spike. Or I got
it wasn't like a
stuff.
serious thing.
But now, like anything, people have just drilled deeper into it, where it's like so meta that it's, if you balance it like this, it's one thing. But if you balance it on the tip, it's another thing. If you balance it this way, it's another thing. So it's just evolved and grown like anything would.
I feel like that I have like a little bit more. Not really invested in it, but I just know a little bit more about it just because of all the stuff you've showed us over the years. And to see the kids that are doing it now and what they're doing is like pretty crazy compared to like us just, messing around with it on, just sticking around, trying to catch it on a spike.
Significantly.
People getting buck wild.
For the first time ever, I was in Nashville a few weeks ago for the Battle at the Border. That's it's a competition every year by Soul Kendamas. And when we were there, for the first time ever in kendama history, a female player won the freestyle competition. She's a Japanese player who's pro for Sweets Kendama. So her name is Nanoka. Shout out Nanoka, absolute animal at kendama. Flew overseas, like came to America, to Nashville, jet lagged and all, beat everybody's ass. And then like it was absolutely incredible. And everybody in that room was just like, this has never happened, that a female player is just like, because it's predominantly like a male sport.
Yeah.
But for a girl to come over and just kick everybody's ass and then just peace out, like it was absolutely incredible.
So whenever Colin and Zach and Kendama USA like started to like, you know, make this a little bit more mainstream in the US, was this like almost you know, were they doing that in Japan? Were they making like edits? Were they doing like videos and kind of like like publicizing it like that?
It was very, very much looked as like educational.
Yeah.
So yes, some people play with it outside the box. There were people in Japan that like played it more and they were known for being a little better at it. But like
there was no pro teams over there?
No.
Okay.
But them seeing all the hubbub that we are making in America, they were like, oh shit, you guys like this too? So it kind of just like not reignited, but it kind of I think showed Japan that like we love this so much. So we look at it as like skateboarding or like BMX, and like that's what a lot of our backgrounds are from. So we just kind of like copy and pasted that lifestyle onto this, because just like in the ski videos, the early ones, that's kind of where it came to be. Like they'd be kind of hanging out, just chilling on the steps, like dapping each other up, playing some kendamas. A dude would fly down a rail on a pair of ski. Like it was very. That is like almost like an oil painting in my head of like, that's what it is. That's like a Starry Night almost of like, that's what kendama is. And like, that's how I see it. Like or the earliest of like footage.
Was there ever sort of like a rivalry with Japan with like America, like kind of like, you know, exploiting this kind of in a different way? Because if they're not doing this in Japan and it's kind of like an educational thing, you know, and they look at what we're doing with it over here, you know, was there ever like a negative outlook on it?
I don't think NG too, for the record too, I was going to be like, I don't know every single thing about this. This is all just going from my picks. I'm just trying to think. People I can count on my hand. They're going to be like,
everyone rip them apart in the comments.
Like this is again from my note. And not rivalry or like it being just kind of like shoving people. It really was kind of just like people came together and were like, oh shit, like,
they were more pumped about it.
Yes, very much so. And they invited Kendama USA in 2011 to Japan. So just going back on that math, Kendama USA is like 2007 is when that started. Because in 2011 is when they first went to Japan. And Kendama USA, like at this time, like Sweets Kendamas and Krom Kendama and some Kendama companies are starting to like come together. But Kendama USA is already going to Japan now on a Japan tour. Yeah. And I will never forget that trailer dropped. And on Christmas Day, the video came out, and it was just like seeing Colin and Zach and just in the wild. And it was like an America skate video, but in Japan for kendama. And that day changed my life, because I just saw that video. I saw them, and I was like friends with them at the time. I was like playing kendama, but seeing that's when I knew I was like, oh, I'm like really into this. Like I can see myself doing this for like a long time. Past like even when it comes to skill wise, like I'm nowhere near as like talented as like the average player. I'm like mid tier, I would say, for my age and whatnot. But just like I knew that I could add value to it, and I could help just get people to be as excited and stoked about it that I was when I first saw it. And that's kind of what I put into like marketing, social, everything behind it. I want someone to see this just blindly scrolling on social to be like, what the fuck is that? And just think it's cool, feel good, feel natural, that type of thing. Cause that's what I got from it. That's why I still love it. And
that's where we are today.
That's where we are, babe, right now.
Well, so how did you get like, you know, what was your first experience of it? Like if you like when did you first hold one in your hand?
Remember, like it was yesterday. I was at Seven Springs and Seven Springs Mountain Resort, shout out. And I was on the grill, and I just heard this like click clack sound, and I turned around, and my friend Dylan had one, and I was like, "What in the hell is that thing?" He's like, "Oh, it's a kendama. It's like a Japanese skill toy. Yord's really good at it." And I was like, "I think I've seen him play with it before, maybe, but this is the first time I'm seeing one in person."
And that's how he found out about it, was Zach Yord?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was the chain of command through like Colin,
through friends,
through all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he handed it to me. I got a big cup first try. The moment I touched it, the first time I ever touched it, I got a big cup.
First tee.
And that was it. And then the rest of the night I was ass. Like I couldn't do anything, but I was so hooked.
Obsessed.
I was like a junkie about it. I was like, can I borrow this for real? We worked together at the Carlos. I was like, can I bring this to you on Monday? He's like, no, dude. But yeah, he let me borrow it.
Now, I mean, so it's hard for me to interview people that I'm this close with because
Sure.
like I already know your history, and it's me asking your history is like
You're a
stuff
part of it. I
was
told
part
you
of it.
shit as soon as shit happened. I was like, I'm going to fucking Japan.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah.
But so I mean, like you kind of like gravitating towards this and like, immersing your life into this, where would you say that that drive came from?
Just like loving it, and just, I always loved skateboarding. Like growing up skateboarding, I was always like the filmer. Like I was like, okay, it's skateboarding, but there's people that obviously are better than us. Like we skated growing up, and I would always just loved Jackass, Viva La Bam, CKY, that type of shit. And that's where like with Kendama, I knew like I'm pretty good at the toy, but I'm really good at like video, and then I'll be even better at like marketing, social, and just being like authentic about it too. Because it's not like if I see some shit like in our design room where it's like, hey, here's our Christmas sale. They had like a Santa Claus holding a kendama. I was like, we ain't putting Santa holding a kendama on there. This has to be authentic, cool, and how we would want to buy something, not some like cheeky bullshit. No offense to anybody that uses that type of stuff, but like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
So as you like, kind of progress into just like playing with this, like, here and there, where does it like, where's the next step? You obviously are playing all the time. You're trying to get better. You're trying to, advance your skill, hone the technology or the terminology.
I reached out to them straight up. Exactly what I just said to you. I said to Zach Yord and Colin, and I was like, I need you to get me. I talked to Jeremy, the owner of Kendama USA, because same thing. I'm pretty good at this toy. I've been playing for a few years, but I'm much better here. I work at the Apple store. Like I have access to like computer and just like I understand editing and that type of stuff. Like I think I can add value. And even at that time, it was probably around 2012, 13, 14. That's when Colin and Zach were starting to kind of like grow out of Kendama and just like get on other phases of their lives and whatnot. And that's where kind of like there's a changing of the guards where like I kind of came in, a person, Jake Weens came in, like TJ Kolesnick came in, like we started kind of running like the show for Kendama USA. And there was kind of like a perfect opening where we were literally hanging out when I reached out to Colin and Zach. I said, I'd like this, let me talk to Jeremy. You guys, we know each other. We're friends. Like I can make this pop, definitely. And they were like, for sure.
And like, how big is that team at that time?
I'm gonna take a shot. Like I would say 20 or less, because there was a small pro team, and there was like a big like kind of flow homie team. Would hook people up that showed interest and just like kind of plant seeds and see if anything came of that.
And like to try to put like an image to like the size of Kendama. Like, was this like a big company? Were they selling a bunch? Was there a lot of options?
Kendama was absolutely on fucking fire at this point in time. Hawaii was popping, Japan was popping, America was popping. Anything Kendama USA did, every other company. And every other company honestly kind of inspired each other, I would say, to just like do things together. And even when there were other companies coming, like everyone would stay with each other. Everyone would travel with each other. Like everyone was learning and just experiencing it the very first time. So there weren't really any guards up. There still is. I mean, even now it's like we have like, there's other Kendama companies and stuff. But at the end of the day, like we're all friends, and there is like the kumbaya of Kendama is there, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, the growth is going to be good for everyone.
But yeah, I told them, I was like, let me talk to Jeremy. And it was when you lived on Ingram Ave, I was walking to your house and my phone rang because we were going to go to like a fair or some type of church event thing that we always go to in the summertime, just bullshit. And Jeremy called me and I was like, holy shit. And he was like, hey, I like what the guys say. I like what I see. I think you'd fit. You want to come to like the New York City Toy Fair? And then I was like, yeah, I would love to go to the New York City Toy Fair. Like I've seen videos growing up of it, and like Kendama trips always looked insane doing it. Said yes to that. That trip started working out. I was ended up being like, sponsored by Kendama USA at the time. They started sending me to like events and yeah, it just kind of like really opened my eyes to it, to where like I worked at the Apple store, but also worked and started to make an income from like Kendama as well. So it was kind of like fulfilling that path, like running all the social medias, filming video, making content, traveling with a team. It was, I was all in. I'm still all in with Kendama now. Things have changed where it's like I have a full-time job where I do social marketing and communication for a healthcare company. But on the side, I have this Kendama like a salary job that I get to invest in. I love it. I give way more of a fuck about it than I should, in all honesty. Like the company that's paying me money, like I'm so much more concerned sometimes about just like Kendama, because like my love, my passion, it's a blessing. And it's a nice way to just like do the corporate job of like join our webinar this Tuesday as we discuss blah, 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 blah. But also get to scratch that creative itch of like make an ad for Zoomies and like go on those types of trips and meet Paul Rodriguez. Like it's a blessed to be where I am. And now with like the signature model, it's like, yeah, I don't know, it feels like a reward or just like kind of like it definitely is a milestone in my career, but I'm definitely not, I'm going to the wheels fall off, like for sure.
So you spent time with Kendama USA.
Yep.
How do now you're with Krom.
Yep.
How does that transition happen? I mean, how many years were you with Kendama USA?
Kendama USA, wasn't 10 years, but I would say it was close. No, I would say maybe close to like 6 years or so. I was with Kendama USA and absolutely love Kendama USA. Their team is ripping right now. But I think at the time I was kind of just like, I lived in Atlanta when I worked at Kendama USA. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, but I lived in Atlanta, Georgia when I worked at Kendama USA for a little while. And I decided to move back home just because like I did my job from my phone and my computer and like we were kind of remote-ish. So after being there for like 2 or 3 years, I was like, is it cool if I do this from home? And Jeremy was very cool about it. He was like, yeah, for sure. So I did it for like a year with Kendama USA. And then I kind of just like wanted to try something new. I feel like just kind of you feel it, like you just want to grow, move on, try something new. And I feel like the changing of the guards thing was also happening again with like, when Colin and Zach and them started to kind of move on, I feel like I was kind of up next to the move on and kind of grow and do something else. And when I did that, I made sure that the people that were on the team were aware of it. It wasn't like cold turkey, like, yo, fuck this, I'm out of here. There's some big fight that I'm going to leave. It was not the case at all. I was like, this is how I'm feeling. Talk to Jeremy about it. I'm going to step away from the team and the company and just kind of do my own thing. He was unbelievably cool about it. And I'm unbelievably appreciative for the opportunities he's given me. But even then, like some of the guys like Zach Magnuson and Haley Bischoff and Kenyatta Williams, like the people that are still on Kendama USA are still my friends. I talk to them weekly, some of them. And I told them, I was like, I'm leaving the team, but like, I see you doing this. I see you stepping up and doing this. And like, I wasn't assigning roles or anything, but I was very much like, I still fucking love this company.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to interact with this company. I'm still going to be attending Kendama competitions and I'm not going to stop using the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all love. I just wanted them to know what's going on, but like, now, so I was a free agent for a bit.
Can you elaborate a little bit about how, I mean, obviously they're almost like skateboard decks. Like there's a million different ones. So, I see now that there's all sorts of different shapes. You could kind of like customize a little bit differently. Yeah. We're going to get into your pro model in a little bit, but like whenever you have all these shapes, like, working for this company, how does that like conversation come up and how does that sort of decision making get made? Like, how do you keep the respect for the traditional art form of Kendama, but also, kind of like, make it sexy and fresh and something that like young kids want to like get into?
It's a really good question.
Those are the only ones I have, Bryan.
Straight up. I think it's kind of just being like real with yourself too. Like, are you asking about like the mod specifically, like what this one looks like?
Well, it's like as a company, I mean, obviously you kind of have like freedom to be able to make like different colors, different like shapes and sizes and everything like that. So how does like, were they manufacturing these toys in Atlanta?
Some of them. So we have like predominantly no. A lot of them are made like overseas. A lot of them are made in Honolulu. I believe it was an old like. I think they made like baseball bats once upon a time or something, but they're all made on like a lathe.
Yeah.
The Kendamas.
Yeah. Turned on a lathe.
Yes.
Yeah. Terminology.
So a lot of them come from, I would say the majority of Kendamas that are played today come from overseas.
Now, I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you, but like, cause I want to know, well, these shapes that they have now, like when does that like, moment happen to where there's different shapes that come into play, different like textures that are on the, the Dama?
Yeah, Tama. Well, Tama. And then, Ken.
Sorry, don't rip me up in the comments. Like, when does that happen? Like, when does that sort of like, alteration happen?
That's a good question too, because like, again, with, when you asked about like, was Japan like upset about us, if they look at it exploiting or anything like that, there wasn't any beef of like us, like, promoting Kendama, but there were some companies that were like, no, I don't want to say stuck in their ways, but they were just like, the Kendama cannot have sticky paint. The Kendama cups must be like a little bit small. Like these cups are substantially larger than what they used to be. Like coming from what a Kendama used to be size wise, like obviously it's much larger, but they looked at it as like, this is a tool. This is a test. Like once you make the cups big and the paint sticky and the string real long, you're kind of manipulating that and you're making it just, but that was kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to spin and flip it and control it more and do crazy shit. So there was like some pushback and some companies like wouldn't want to sponsor events or they would just be like, there used to be a mold when you went to competitions. It was like a block of wood almost like this and your Kendama had to fit into this block and they had to put a sticker on like the cup right here,
That's
and then it was
pretty cool.
competition certified.
I didn't know
so you can
that.
take it, because the bigger the cup, the easier it is to play with. If the cup's real big, it's going to sit and balance real nice.
Were there people that like, had like, almost like the equivalent of like a corked baseball bat?
Yeah, I would trust that none of it was intentional, but there were some shapes where like only like the glow can of the JKA had like these 2 or 3 molds. So like when we'd be making kendamas here, sometimes we're like, shit, like we want to like innovate and make this stuff big, but like what doesn't fit in the fucking box? That's going to affect sales. Now we can't promote this as like, you can't even compete with this if you wanted to. So like, that's going to be hard. So it was kind of like, we had to ask like exact measurements of this box just so we know what was the maximum we can go to.
Yeah.
The boxes are still used now for some companies and like some competitions. They want to do more like throwback style, but yeah, they were kind of,
Accepting that things were progressing.
yeah. So they were kind of just, things were evolving and it was getting crazy.
Evolving, that's a good way.
Because like when I started playing kendama, everybody did abide by those rules where it was like, dude, no way you'd use sticky paint. That's like cheating practically. And the string, when the tama is on the ken, the string used to have to be so short that only 2 fingers would fit underneath the ken. But now like strings are 10 fingers long. And I remember that being shit where like even the community and like on Instagram, when you can start posting videos, because people would just be like, that string is so long. Like, no wonder you like, and just like, be like, no, that shit doesn't even count. Your string is so long. So eventually people kind of unanimously said, fuck it, when they saw what was capable with like a longer string and capable with big cups. And they were just like, this is only progressing. And because like, think of tennis rackets. Once upon a time, they were made of like wood and they're kind of like goofy looking. And now they're like aerodynamically designed and like bigger and made of different materials. And that's very much where this is headed. People have tried to make, and people have made kendamas out of like resin and like I don't know, like other materials and stuff. But wood is still kind of the same as like skateboarding. It's like there's been metal decks, there's been like indestructible decks, but wood is always kind of like that's like you can't, that's the one people want. That's like the most OG.
Well, it's interesting because like I feel like it's almost like something that you would have to do is evolve the kendama, because if you just had the same size, you're limited to what you could do from like the traditional one.
Yep.
So to be able to make it grow and progress, you have to let it evolve a little bit.
Yeah. Every now and then, what's cool is people will be new up and comers, and just like people will be able to shred or rip on a kendama. And then, there'll be some chatter like, yeah, but could you do that on like an OG JKA or blah, blah, blah. And some people will just clap back and like rip that same kendama trick or that same line on an older kendama with like not sticky paint, not bigger cups. And that's when you're just like, all right.
Yeah. You're
like, it's served. Like,
Talk
it's like,
your
okay,
shit.
yeah.
So whenever you make that, that initial transition to being a free agent, like where's your mind at?
I was scared. I cried.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I
I remember that it was like definitely like a tough time, because it's like you put in so much time with Kendama USA. And I know that there was a point in time where, weren't you supposed to get a kendama back then too?
There was talks of it, yeah, but just like
So for you to like, step away from that company and become a free agent, like what makes you want to keep going, and like how do you not get discouraged?
It was as soon as I decided to step away for a bit, I wholeheartedly did start just working like more nose to the grindstone at Apple at the time, and like was enjoying it. But I was still playing kendama, and then COVID hit, so I was inside. So all I was doing was like playing kendama, and I was just actually getting a lot better. And then I've been friends and been like in the kendama industry for a long, like 12 years. So Sweets Kendamas and like Grain Theory and like Soul Kendama, and a bunch of companies started just like sending me stuff. They were like, you're very valuable when it comes to like social and your skill, and like we love you. So it's like, so it's just like, try these out. And then, some of them were just like, if you want to come join the team, like we'll talk about it, but just more or less take these as gifts. So like I was playing, because I'm very loyal to the company. Like I only play Krom kendamas. Like when I was Kendama USA, I was only Kendama USA. So I'm not playing different shapes and sizes of kendamas. So then when I'm
is
getting
that frowned upon?
No, if you're unsponsored or a free agent, like play whatever the hell you want. There's kids that like, are loyal to stuff. Like I only bought like Baker and Toy Machine and stuff, and we skated back in the day, but there was obviously other options and shit. But I got the opportunity to just play a bunch of shapes. I was just talking to a lot of people at the time, and Krom stepped up first and was just like, we will pay you this much money if you want to join the team and do this, and we'll do a mod, and kind of just came prepared.
And where are they based out of?
Denmark. So they're not even America. Yeah. Krom is based out of Denmark. They're a Danish company. Also from like the early mid 2000s.
And how, like, whenever they hit you up, like, how big is their team?
The big three kendama companies have always been like Kendama USA, Sweets Kendamas, and Krom Kendama.
Okay.
Because Krom was the first big like European company, and they pretty much had Europe in a chokehold at the time. A lot of other, not a lot, but like a handful of other European kendama companies are also out and about right now. But Krom is definitely the longest running. As of now, Sweets Kendama is in fact the biggest kendama company for the biggest events. And
well, when does that sort of like, you know, have that crossover into like Zoomies and like all the other kind of mainstream stores? Because I remember whenever that started to happen and they started to like pop up in different places.
Yep.
And it was so weird to see that because like you said before I would see you order it offline on a Japanese website and you would just hope to get it. But then you could walk in the mall and Zoomies has a whole wall full of shit. So like, when does that like sort of mainstream like, you know, pull start to happen to where they do that?
So Zoomies specifically, for those who don't like, Krom Kendama is in Zoomies all over America. So if you walk into a Zoomies shop in the mall, you can buy a Krom Kendama. And how that happened was in Europe, one of our sales guys has had connections with there's a company called Blue Tomato, which I believe it's kind of like, I think they own Zoomies or something like that. But Blue Tomato is basically like the European brand of Zoomies, like it would be in America. And one of our sales guys was talking to them, and they started carrying kendamas in these like Blue Tomato shops. And then once they kind of passed this, it wasn't a test, but it was like something with popularity, like it got into a magazine or a catalog or something, ended up getting to Zoomies. So then by it being popular in Blue Tomato, they were like, let's try these in America now, some of our Zoomies stores. And when they did that, I was just all ears because I know Zoomies has kind of like a tongue-in-cheek like connotation to it. It's like, our kendamas are next to the weed socks and fingerboards and shit like that. Like that is a fact. But at the same time, it's like to be able to go in and get a kendama just straight up if you needed to, that's awesome. Like Sweets Kendamas, they sell their products in Target, so which is also huge.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were in Target.
Yeah, but when one thing I like about particular about Krom, what I enjoy is like Zoomies is like a skate shop. So it's like, it is cool seeing our products next to like Tech Decks and like, not the weed socks, but like the weeds, like stance socks. And like, it's just very cool to see that. And it definitely is like a huge, like pat on the back type.
Yeah. Like legitimizes the brand.
Sweets is really cool though too, because like, when Sweets Kendamas first was sold in Target, they were next to like the Magic 8-Ball, the deck of cards, like that, like, not novelty stuff, you know what I mean? Like that type of like yo-yos.
Rubik's Cubes.
Yes. But now they're in like the camping gear, which is super sick. So it's by like Spike Ball, like just hammocks and like that type of shit. So I really like what Sweets has done where it's kind of like, take this. How many times have I taken a kendama camping?
A lot.
Over the, like, yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just, it's been blowing up. Kendama does go like in waves where it's like, there's like peaks and then it kind of drops off, then it peaks again. I'm going to Amsterdam in the Netherlands at the end of May. Because of how popular it is out there. I'm very excited. I've never been to those parts of Europe, so that's going to be rad.
That'll be a wild time.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's cool to see it like progress. Like we said, like, you know, I've kind of had like a eye on like you our whole lives just because like I've seen you do all this.
Yeah.
But it's wild to see like how big it got from like back in the day whenever we would all just make fun of you. Like, yeah, look, he's sitting there for 3 hours just trying to catch this little wooden toy on a cup. But now it's like, you know, you'll see it pop up in skate videos. You'll see it pop up. It's all over my Instagram randomly. And it's wild to see like how much it's evolved. But you get to, you know, you get in with Krom and you start to, you know, like what are your duties whenever you get to Krom? You're just like the media guy, social media, you're making content, all that.
Yeah, they never really had like a dedicated social media person, but their marketing and like their just content was always top tier. And in my opinion, they had a very cool like Euro skate, like just play life, very playful, like fun, goofy, just brand. And they made things that like they were kendamas, but they weren't just kendamas. Like most, if not all kendamas, just like skate shop, like skateboard companies, they make decks that they're made to like play with or skate with, and that's it. Krom makes like goofy stuff sometimes. Like it's not frowned upon, but it's like you normally would not have this handle like red. Normally the handle would be like a solid like wood color. Or for instance, like if I pull out, there's like a little mini one is the coolest. Like this, just like little desk.
Oh, the wood. Let me see.
Little metal ones, yeah. See, you want this.
See, you want this. So this is a Krom kendama right here.
Yeah, that's a Krom mini metal kendama.
So they're just like, you know,
coming out in a few months.
What?
It's one of these.
Oh, that's new?
Yeah.
Sneak peek here. Let me see this. So I mean, like they just kind of like, expanded on what the norm was,
Feel that.
It's a little bit strange.
It's like a peach.
Yeah.
It's like a fuzzy. It's like a prototype of like a fuzzy kendama we're working
Well,
on.
how is that not, so are you allowed to play those in competition? I feel like
I don't think
that's
anybody
like,
would, because that's very much like this is novelty.
yeah.
Because Krom, like we make the kendamas for kendama players, but also like we kind of work on this like collectors odds and ends category as well, like a mini kendama. Because this is like to scale of what one of these are. It's weight balanced. There's a small bearing inside of here, as there is in one of these to keep the ball spinning. So you could play with this if you wanted to, but it always caught my eye that Krom would pay attention to that type of shit. They would always want to make sure. April Fool's Day has always been almost bigger than Christmas priority wise, where we drop something silly or goofy that people wouldn't expect. And I just always admired that. And I was like, I want to. So they needed a social person basically that also could shred on Dama. So they called your boy.
So, I mean, you get in with them and this was what, 2020?
This was 2020, yeah.
Okay.
I was announced on the team September 11th, 2020.
Oh, geez.
My birthday was the next day, September 12th.
Yeah, September 11th. You should have said, wait a day. So, I mean, like, as you're like an employee through Krom and like you are taking over their, social media and, that end of it all, or do you have any like, input on like the designs of things, or, like how does that, is that like kind of close to like the owner of them?
Yeah. What's cool is like, usually they would, when I started in 2020, it was like, here's what we have coming out. And like Krom has like their whole year plan basically of like the products they have coming out, signature models, collaborations, that type of thing. And it was always nice how just like kind of like on point they were. So I kind of just plugged into what was happening. As the years have gone on, like now I'm very much involved in like the design process. Like I get products first and it's like, how does this look, feel? And I'm like, this is good. These stickers kind of look wonky. Can we try this again? And that type of shit. And
like, do you guys have like a set, like a certain designer who's like, that's whose job it is to design?
We're actually
these
looking
things?
right now.
Oh yeah, for a designer. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sick.
But yes, we have like, and a lot of people that like play kendama are usually skilled in like Photoshop, film, camera, that type of stuff. So usually you wear many hats around the team, or at least it's a huge perk if you shred dama and also like make content or do influencer type stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, how does it progress from there to getting, this pro model that we have right here?
It's good stuff.
Like when do you find out that this is going to be a thing?
I guess, it was 2020, last year, 2022, 2023.
And like, how was that decided?
We were in Colorado for a Zoomies trip. There's a thing called 100K and it's put on by Zoomies, and it's at the beginning of the year, and it's kind of like a giant party where it's like a thank you to Zoomies employees, where they bring them out there, they party their asses off, they celebrate them, and they give away a bunch of crazy prizes. Instead, Zoomies, they invite people like Andrew Reynolds and Shepard Fairey and Paul Rodriguez and like just jaw-dropping people that I've admired my entire life.
Was it Ryan Sheckler? Is that where you saw him?
Not there. I met Bryan Sheckler. I was able to give some kendamas to, actually. Him and Carrie Getz at, not Carrie Getz, the fuck makes Grizzly get grip? I forget his name, but I hooked them up at a Red Bull competition once to like a skate thing in Atlanta. That was cool.
No big deal.
But no, it's been very cool to, I met fucking Tony Alva.
Yeah, it's wild.
At Zoomies. And it's just like, so I was very into that. When I knew about 100, I knew about 100K, and then we got invited to it because of how well kendama was. And what that is like they throw a big party for like all the employees, but they also bring out like a lot of the vendors. So like Rip and Dip is also there. Baker is also there. Elements also. So whatever you would see in Zoomies, those brands are there. Etnies is there, like everything. It's awesome. So as we're there, we're riding in an Uber to one of the events, and the owner of Krom at the time like turns back and he's like, "Hey, that design we were working on a few years ago, like of blah blah blah, like." And I was like, "I know exactly what you're talking about." And he's like, "We ended up like not doing anything with that. We should use that for like your mod. We should make you a mod." And I'm just like, "You have my attention. I love that idea." So it's like, this design was kind of like on the back burner, like something we had used for like a prototype in the past. And I was like, let me update some things that I think I would do differently on it. And like, let's run it.
Well, how do how does someone become a pro? Like what sets you apart from, all the other people? Like, where does that come into, where does that line get crossed?
To get to achieve like the title of like pro kendama player, usually it would come from like, comes from like just obviously being talented and like skilled with playing kendama. Winning major competitions is a huge help. So like once a year there's the Kendama World Cup, which is in Hatsukaichi, Japan. And that's where it's almost like a test. There's 10 10 levels of tricks. There's 10 tricks per level. And the person who win, if you win that, it's a huge fucking deal. And that's like, all eyes are on you. It gets nuts.
Yeah.
There's also a competition that's more freestyle based and less like do these tricks in Tokyo. And that's also once a year called Catch and Flow. And if you win that competition, it's a big fucking deal. Like when Battle the Board, big. So winning competitions and just like being active on social media, that type of thing, that will absolutely, without a doubt, get you noticed on a Kendama company. And usually the rankings work like a skateboard company. You would be on Flow. Kendama USA gave me some Kendamas to start off with. I was pretty good. I started making shit with it, giving them content in return. So they're like, cool, let's put you on the team. And then that was on the team for a while, like, and then would make content even more. And then they were like, let's start bringing you on trips. And that's kind of like how it would go. And I got to the point where like I was turning other people pro. My career with Kendama has been a lot of like seeking out like young talent or just like people that like just helping people become pro, design mods. Like I've been a part of a lot of Kendama design processes and just like professional models specifically. I've had the opportunity of like telling someone like, hey, by the way, you're on the pro team now. And then being like, like with
crazy.
Cakes, we've surprised people. One time, Nobu Nori in Japan, he's a Japanese player on Kendama USA, speaks very little English, speaks as much English as I speak Japanese. So he's over in Minnesota with us on a Kendama trip, and we're like, we're turning Nobu pro this trip. He's a fucking monster. Everyone knows it. So we had to bring a translator in with us.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
all of us are in the room just like sitting on our hands, like with noise. It was very fun. So we're like, blah, 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 blah. Nobu would be on the pro team. And the translator translates to him, Kota, and he's like, yeah, like, it was very, very cool. So to be on, I tell you that just to like now be on the end where it's like, I've always like not provided, but I've always like helped like stand up,
Yeah,
like
you've
young
always
professionals,
lifted
that type
people
of
up.
thing. It felt really good to have that because I am a good Kendama. I am a professional Kendama player. Like, and I think that now it just kind of feels good because this mod feels like nice, like a good payoff. Because a lot of the pros you see now is like a no brainer. Like kids are just like so fucking good that it's like obviously they're going to go pro.
It's really crazy.
If there's an event, people drop pro models. It happens all the time. So this one is kind of like absolutely not a win for the little guy because I'm not a little guy like whatsoever. But it's like kind of like it's a feel good. It's like a milestone. It's a signature model. I'm very
you
much
live and
attached
breathe
to
it.
it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's been your life. You live and you live and you breathe it. So it's like it's well deserved. But you know, how many pro people were on Krom's team?
Krom, there's myself, Dylan Westmoreland, Bonzatron, Yasu, Soma Davidis. We were turning pro this year, so a little bit less than 10. There's gonna be like pro models on our team, or pro players on our team.
Okay, so I mean, they tell you that you're gonna be a pro now, and that you're gonna get a pro mod, and like, where's it go from that?
That's a really good question because some people, I don't want to say they're my age, but some people that get a Kendama like really late in their journey, kind of like I'm not past my prime, but like there's been some situations where like someone's been playing Kendama forever, and it's like they're kind of past their prime, and it's like then they get a mod, and then they stop.
Yeah,
it's a huge drop off rate for that, where it's kind of like I did it, peace. And I don't know if it doesn't really like intend to be that way, but it very much happens. It's very surprising from what I've been told that I'm still playing Kendama after even Kendama USA, just because normally when people saw me saying, "Hey, I'm stepping away," that was like well, there goes another one. Yeah, like someone's gonna kind of ride off into the sunset for Kendama, but yeah, I just didn't do that. I just love it way too fucking much, and it's like I feel like my poor girlfriend, I don't watch like TV or like movies or anything. Like I am on my phone. I am making content. Like I'll have my laptop with me. We'll just be chilling like in the living room. But it's like, I'm always kind of like tinkering, doing something, design, like I enjoy it. Like, and if I didn't have that, I go nuts. When Krom doesn't have like something to do, I do get kind of like antsy and ornery. So I've always kind of enjoyed that, having two things at once. And it's a blessing. It's nice to be able to have a career, but also have like a career that lets you scratch that creative itch and do cool shit like go to Amsterdam in May.
Yeah, that's insane. Now, take all these ruddy things away. Take all these away, and I want you to talk me through, the design of this. Talk me through why things are what they are, and talk to me about your designers that helped you with these.
Hell yeah! Well, it is for the very first time on TV. Bryan Scagline signature model Kendama. We got the artwork first off. I mean, the artwork, box design. Shout out Faust, Nevermind's World, helped out with some of the graphics on here. super fire with a little kendama on the back.
Now, are you do you have input on these designs? Do you tell them I want like weird eyes like that, or do you kind of give them some creative freedom?
I give them some like samples, almost like a mood board type thing where it's like, I envision this, I want it to look like this type thing. And then he kind of like does some drafts, and I was like, this one, let's do it that. Cause this one, like the box is like a little guy peeking through like a crack in the wall. It's supposed to be me. And then there's like some stickers and stuff on the inside with like the Faust did, but yeah, there it is. Bryan Scagline mod. Very, very cool.
What makes you want to, what makes you want that to be the design? Like explain it.
I think Krom's also always done crazy designs. Like growing up skateboarding, like I loved decks that had wild ass designs. I did kind of baby my boards. I didn't want to like fuck up the logos. Like I just loved the way it looked. So I knew with the design of this, I wanted to go a little bit extra because your average kendama, like again, Krom makes kind of like, I would say goofy looking kendamas, absurd, like colorful ones. An ideal kendama is a maple tama, a maple ken, some type of like gritty, sticky paint that helps land tricks. And like the less markings, the better. Just like a
stripe around there.
A stripe and a dot on top is the most ideal thing. People were just like, that's what I want for kendama. Because that's for tricks, tracking, that type of thing. This obviously plays like fucking incredible. But I knew I wanted to go like extra hard with the design. I think it's because all of my friends have like tattoos. I've always thought tattoos are like super badass. I just never got any myself. So I was like, I'm just gonna tat the fuck out of this kendama and just make it look absolutely crazy, like Cuban link chain, kind of cringy, like, but also gaudy and just kind of like, yeah. I knew I wanted it to look extra crazy, and that's why the first version of this mod, all of these it was all an engraving around like the cups, and I was like, I think it should be printed black, so it's like you can see like what it looks like actually, and it just kind of stands out more. So yeah, around the kendama, it's little cobweb in there. The designer Oliver came up with that. I don't know why it's there. I thought it looked kind of badass. So that's what that is.
So wait, Nevermind's World did not design that kendama?
Nevermind's World helped with the box art and also the stickers that are included.
Oh, okay. It's similar
in the
looking.
mod. So yeah, literally because like Ollie designed this and then kind of like couldn't really like help. He was kind of like his project was to design this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need some stickers and stuff. I saw Faust. Him and I have been like hanging out and like connecting. So I was like, it's pretty similar. Let's add some of this to it. So yeah,
I honestly thought that it was the same. So it fits well. It fits well. Now, what is that? The 12 on the other cup? Is that just to signify how many years you've been in?
It's doing my time. 12 years in the game right there. And then I think it's pretty cool. Like when September rolls around, like when I started playing kendama, it'll be my 13th year. I'm gonna go on social and be like, "Yo, time to update your Skag mod. Hit like a 13 tally on there." So
I like that.
There's like a little marketing, like kind of incentivize, like, oh, that's cool. I want to
keep
be a part
it alive.
Of that bullshit. Yeah,
keep it alive.
Yeah. So 12 years been in the game. Says my name right across the cups right here, Bryan Scagline. On the other side, it says Krom Kendama. Cool little flower pot right there. Snakes. I'm terrified of snakes, but we decided to put one on there for some reason. It says BS, my initials right there on the in between like the slip stop. And it says Krom Kendama with like I like how it has like a lot of filler stuff too. Like when you see like sleeves, it has just like the little fill-in stuff. That's kind of what I wanted with like this, and the cobweb and the flower pot and the snake really have nothing to do with anything. I just think they look kind of cool. And
that's fine.
The gold bricks around the hole, I think, are just like really gangster looking. I like how the stars kind of shine here. And again, the Cuban link is like kind of cringy, goofy, but it's like, fuck it, I want to go hard. And then Krom's logo is a smiley face with 3 eyes. So there's like a little star design with like a 3-eyed smiley face on top.
Now, let me ask you this. How do you not get like super, super picky about a pro mod? You know, you wait for, over a decade for this thing. And like, how do you make it so you're not like, because whenever I get people to design shit, I feel bad that they got to deal with me because I'm like, dude, just shift it this way a little bit. I'm sorry that I got to be an asshole about this, but like, like I just wish that I was able to do it, but I can't. So it's like, how crazy were you with the design of it?
It was much harder than it was design. Like it was much harder to design this than it was any other kendama. I'm just attached to this way more. It has my name on it. Like obviously you're going to kind of give more of a shit about this kendama. It's like, it's yours. But yeah, with this one specifically, actually, one last thing I wanted to point out is like the brown on top right here is the exact Pantone of Mr. Hanky, the poop from South Park. just because that's the shit. And I think that it was just kind of a cool little memento because I love South Park way too fucking much. But
so I mean, like, did the designers, like, you know, were you surprised by it? Like how?
I was surprised for how much I loved it immediately because yes, designing this kendama immediately, the original theme I was going to go with was a crash dummy. Like Krom was very much like, and some of the other people that were helping design the mod, they were like, one thing about you is like your hair, it stands up. It's like you're a, you know, loud kind of like person. And I thought like the crash dummy thing would be kind of cool. So I was like, what if we did like me, but a crash dummy with like my hair or something? And this was going to be like more industrial looking, like gray with like construction orange and like neon and that type of thing. I still kind of like that idea, but then there was another one where I wanted to make myself look like a cartoon that was like almost like if this was like a dome, like on a snow globe or something, I would be like a cartoon cool. Me like stuck in like it was a glass ball or something.
That's cool.
And then it just, there was some times looking at it, I was like, is this cool or is this fucking stupid looking? Like, you know what I mean? Just like point blank asking. And when I saw this one, I was like, that's cool. It's funny. It's gangster. It's like definitely over the top. And there really isn't another kendama on the planet that looks like that one. And it's,
and who's the designer of that?
His name is Ollie. And he's one of our designers at Krom.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask. How did you link up with that guy?
Yeah. They usually, because at Krom, they have like designers and whatnot. Cause no one's been like fire any. I mean, but it's kind of like people kind of step in like, hey, I'm pretty good at art. I can help out with this kind of stuff. We have designers sometimes, so it kind of like flips back and forth. But yeah, with that collaborations, if we want to do collaborations, if somebody else wants to take the reins and like we're gonna design it this way, it's like cool, go for it. Like we just kind of consult that way. But fortunately, it's been pretty easy. Like people we work with kind of have the same vision, the same type of like understanding of what we want to make. So
this was over a year in the making, though. You found out that this was going to
like
happen.
12 years in the making.
No, yeah. I mean, like whenever he told you that you're going to get a pro mod, you said that was 2022.
Yeah.
So, you know, how long does that process, you know, like when did you start designing this to where you started like getting some samples back, some design samples back? And when did you like, you know, when did you guys get them?
We got our samples in. I got my first prototype last year. It showed up in the mail, and I was just like, I had Abby film me when I was like, can I film me, go to the mailbox and open this thing? So
did it look like that?
Yeah. The very first prototype I got was.
It's in there?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the one I used for the video that's out. It's all beat the shit right now.
I don't know if I even ever seen this.
Yeah. That's the one that I just played with that and beat the hell out of it.
Does the bottom of this one haul it out? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the very first one that I ever got. So the paint on this one's actually like a little bit lighter than the other ones, but yeah. But this is the very first. That's the one that I'll baby for sure. That's the very first one that I got. And then these are the ones that now you can get at kromkendama.com.
No big deal. Link below.
Dude, having your name on a fucking toy, sincerely, like I don't want to cool guy this or anything. Like, yeah, it's like all this. Like this is very unbelievably flattering and just like holy shit and kind of like silly at the same time. So like. Yeah, I'm very, very geeked about this. Like
you should be, dude. Like, I mean, I feel like, you know, people that might be listening to this, like they don't really get the, you know, the time and effort that you've put into this over the years, and the ridicule from your friends for spending 3 hours trying to do one trick.
Speaking of that, this is my very first kendama that I ever got. Yeah, this was the blue TK16 that I got from Kendama. You've absolutely played with it.
I know. I want to feel the difference.
Put those cups next to each other and just look at like the size difference.
Yeah. It is. It's
the hole in the ball is going to be a lot bigger and stuff. It's different.
Huh.
Last one I want to show you.
Yeah.
This is the most I've ever paid for a kendama.
How much?
I paid $300 for this kendama in the condition that it's in right now. That's a JKA Mugen. You can take it out of the bag if you want to.
But what does that mean? Like, tell me why it's $300.
So that would be like, okay, so like the Beatles White Album is a highly sought after album. It's a fucking Beatles White Album. This would be like a first pressing Beatles album, like for how old it is, for what it is of its kind. It's
like, when was this made?
I don't know off the top of my head. Like, read the bag. It's in Japanese.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is this like a super old one, or is this like?
Yeah, that's a very, very old kendama, and it's shame on me, honestly, for not knowing what year it was manufactured.
You're shitty for that.
But that's this is. I want to bring this just because I knew this would be a cool kind of funny. Just
and where'd you get that?
I got this from Sean Coyne, who got this from Colin Sander. This was used in Dama nerds out there. This was used in Colin Sander Edit 9. This is the white Mugen that he uses in that video. So
how much is that whenever he buys it new?
So when he bought this new, it was probably like, I would say between $20 to $30.
And what makes it that value now?
The value now, I would say, is probably a little bit different, but like because Colin used it, like the godfather of Kendama, that's huge. Because of the Kendama,
does he still play?
Rarely, but like he's still very much like in the scene and does his thing. And like, because this Mugen, this is called a JKA Mugen. This is kind of from the same tree as this Kendama, but the JKA, you can tell in the little sticker on the seal, this one has like it's gold and like teal a little bit, where this one's gold and green. So that's like, this is a JKA TK16. This is a JKA white Mugen. And yeah, this one, yeah, $300 at the time is definitely insane. Cause it was like, it had sticky paint.
When did you buy that?
2017, I bought this. Yeah. From Sean, who got it from Colin.
So
I'm gonna put it back in the bag.
I mean, like whenever you like, I mean, so how do you determine, how does the value get determined as far as like, besides that, obviously like that one's a little bit different where, it's played by the people, but like, are there kendamas from like 2000 and, the early 2000s that people collect from that and everything?
Yeah. It's kind of what's cool too about kendama and collecting now too, it's kind of like whatever you want to value it as, and just like whatever you like the level of your appreciation for it, I would say. JKA Mugens across the board, like this era is without a doubt, like it's still like the most respected and known as like this is a holographic Charizard essentially of like kendamas like out in the wild, where like this would be Blastoise. Just an honest Blastoise, just kind of just like hanging out. But yeah, so
and this one's fucking Mewtwo.
That's Mew. That's the one you got from Pokemon the movie. That's like purple, and everyone fucking loved it. Yeah.
Now, I mean, like, so whenever you get these in, you got your first sample in, and then you obviously gave it the okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does it? I mean, like, is there talks of like expectations of sales, things like that? Like how does that whole topic even get brought up? Like, how do you do a rollout of this? How do you decide how many get ordered? Do the same amount get ordered for each pro mod?
That's like, so all of those things are considered when going into it. And that's even like a consideration when making someone like a signature model kendama. That's something that we consider when we do a collaboration with somebody, like just kind of just looking at everything. But with the kendamas specifically, and just kind of like getting your own and knowing when it's time, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, I lost my train of thought. I got like four things are going to come out at once.
That's all right. Well, you told me you made 300 of these.
Yeah.
Now, how does that get spread out? You told me these are going to be on sale in Japan, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, like, how does that kind of like get, like how does that get distributed? Like 300 of those, like obviously your sales are online, but how do you determine what goes to Japan, how many go over there? And then like, do you guys have other wholesalers that like, you sell in the store?
Yeah. So we have like actual, like a sales team and like sales people that like do a lot of that stuff. And that's where like that's where it gets kind of like even fuzzy for me, like what I know. Cause I'm very much on like the social side and like the analytics and just like content creation side.
That's a little bit in the weeds.
Yeah. And when they like, cause I'll ask like, how many of these are we getting made? What are they selling for? Like how much do they cost for us to make?
Well, the reason I asked that, is this going to be in Zoomies?
No, this one is not going to be in Zoomies. And the only reason is because this is priced at $50 because this is like a deluxe version of a kendama.
Well, what are the different price tiers?
The ones in Zoomies are going to be like $25 just because.
Are those just like the plain, like the plainer ones, or
it would be like going in and buying a mini logo, just like a blank deck, and just like kind of it's a starter essentially versus like instead of buying the $50 deck that has like BAM's logo on it, you're going to buy the one that's like a mini logo just to kind of get your feet wet and get figured out. Just because it's such an obscure thing to ask, the odds of somebody going in and being like, this is fucking nuts. $50, no problem. I'll take that chance. Like, people aren't really doing that, especially like the demographic of like Zoomies, but marketing it like, it's $25 and those ones that get started on, like those are fantastic.
That's how much the starters are. 25.
Yeah. For a Krom Pop is the starter one. Yeah.
And I mean, there's just like all sorts of those, or all many different kinds of those.
Yeah. All colors, honestly. But also with that, there are some other like Zoomies in like California, they'll order some of the higher end stuff because our kendamas will range from like $25 for a Krom Pop. And then like,
what's the most expensive Krom kendama?
The most expensive Krom kendama, the mini metal was The little mini medal was $50, I think, actually. But we made like one. It's called a liquefy, where it's made of one piece of wood, and it kind of has like a curve in it. And those were like $100. And actually, we make a XXXL kendama, which is like this big.
Yeah, that big ass.
And those
one.
are like $270. So I think they're $270 or $300. Like, yeah, those. But nowadays, if you want to buy a good kendama and like just whoop some ass, $40, $30, you'll get the job done. I mean, but I'm also not afraid to play any like. My skill set and my levels, like I'll play like old school style tricks. I'll do like new style. So I'm not really like scared or like kind of, or I shy away. I'll play with literally any type of kendama and make it work.
Now, how do kendama companies kind of combat the progression of this sport? And whenever I say that, I mean like, what's a good way to describe this? So, the OGs obviously are like the Rodney Mullins, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, the shit that they were doing in Ollie was like
Inventing
fucking
tricks.
witchcraft.
Yes.
And now there's like young ass little kids that are like 12 years old that are doing fucking insane things on Street League and everything. And it's almost like, no comparison. So I can go on Instagram and I swear I was just scrolling through some random kid's profile. I think he had less than 1,000 followers and he's doing buck wild shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you how do those people get noticed and set aside from, just falling into the saturation
Like
of
the
this
void
now?
of like the community. Or the
I just feel
kendama.
like it's all progressing. So like people are just fucking killing it. So, you got to kind of like live and breathe it, like you were saying, right?
Yeah. It's also one of those things now too, where it's like the internet, like kendama definitely has been 2020 fucking catapulted people in the kendama industry, just into the community rather, because people were inside and like just everything went crazy. You were making good ass bread.
I was making good bread.
Good ass bread.
Hell yeah.
You guys threw me that loaf from the top.
That was dope. That was dope.
What did you just ask me? I'm losing it right now.
I was asking you about like how people kind of
Where am I right now? What is this?
I was asking you how people like kind of get, noticed compared to, because I feel like there's so many people.
It's social media, and it's just like, it's being able to like, you could message Tony Hawk if you wanted to. Like, you know what I mean? Like odds of him getting it, who knows, with like his inbox and that kind of shit. But it's like, you can literally reach out and touch people sometimes. Yes, there's a big, saturated, crazy, fucked up like pool of people. But honestly, like some of the kids that rip nowadays, we literally just message them and say, you are on fire, especially for your age. And usually for like younger kids, it's their parents that are running their social media. So it's like, thank you very much. We're the father, or mom of so-and-so.
Oh, really?
We're like, you know what? Thank you. Honestly, some of the kids, I'd rather, if a kendama company is trying to talk to you, answer them. Some of these teenage kids out there are just like, seen, don't answer. It's like, do you fucking want this or not? Where like some of the young kids, they're like, yes, what are you thinking? And it's like, son is very good for his age. We don't want to fast track, pro model, that type of stuff yet. So like, how does it feel about, we'll send you some t-shirts and socks and some kendamas. He or she will be happy, and then kind of go from there. Because when you do that, you kind of like, sometimes sponsoring someone or giving someone a kendama is like throwing a message in a bottle and just like seeing if they, an influencer, it's like, I hope they like this. And it's like, they might not even put it on their story.
Yeah.
Or like you were a little kid, they give unboxing and it's like, it's funny.
More hype about it.
Of course. So like Krom is very much the forefront of like young talent. Krom has we have two pros on our team, Yua and Yui, and they started playing for Krom when they were like 8 and 9 or something.
How old are they now?
I want to say they're both probably like, I want to say like 15, 16-ish now, but like they're both
Smashing
live in
you.
Japan. They're insane. They literally whoop my ass at kendama. It's not even funny.
Well, it's crazy because like, what's like the youngest pro? Do you know? Across all the teams? Like
Shit,
there's someone that's like 10, 11?
I want to say Yasu is not 12. I think Yasu's 13, but he's a pro on our team. 13 or 14. Yasu, comment. How old? Oh, I forget how old he is. And answer me too. Seriously, in the DMs. Yasu specifically, answer me on IG, bro.
So, I mean, like, we have like this like younger generation that just like has this phone, and it's like a gateway to so much potential,
Good,
so many
bad.
possibilities.
Yeah.
But like, it's so wild to think that like the progression is so much quicker than it was back then.
Significantly.
And I mean, you obviously like noticed that.
Dude, I mean, like, that's a very good question, specifically because like these kendamas, like when we started playing, they weren't sticky and didn't have big cups. So like it literally took me almost 3 years to be able to land a lunar, which is when you hold the ball and you just balance, it like balances sideways on the ball. Like this was like a rite of passage trick. Like once you start hitting lunars, like you're in this shit.
Yeah.
And it took me literally like almost 3 years to do that. Where now with these kendamas, like it is a bit, people are talented. Like kendama is a hard thing to play with. Like the average person doesn't pick it up and just get good at it. But the progression now is insane. Like people I know that I've given a kendama to, like, try this. They're doing lunar within like a few months, a few weeks even. It just really depends how like just fucking head first you get into it.
Wow. So, I mean,
Sorry for cursing.
No, that's all right. So you get this pro model, you open this up, you obviously, see it start to sell.
Tingle.
Like what is like, what's your feeling at that? Like, is it like a surreal feeling that
Dude, it's something I've wanted. Like it is every little girl's dream to go pro playing kendama, obviously. Like it's unbelievably flattering. I'm good at taking compliments, but I'm good at taking like 3 in a row. One that's like, dude, I love your shit. I've been watching it. Like it is insanely flattering. And like, I appreciate it more than anything. People sharing those like words with me. I'd rather you honestly say that than even buy the mod. Cause like to even like message someone nowadays, like people don't do that type of shit, but it's surreal. Seeing people, cause it's like, I dropped a kendama, there's a signature mod, but also a big piece of this as well is like the edit that I put out with it. So it's like, when a skateboarder goes pro, they also have like an edit that comes out with it. When someone goes like skater of the year, they have the skater of the year like edit or video that comes out later. So this kendama dropped on Valentine's Day of this year, just like last week.
how did you figure that day? Like what made you pick Valentine's Day?
We did a pre-release a few weeks earlier in Nashville, and we had like 30 or 40 of them, and those all sold out. It was awesome. Like it was very cool. And like face to face, people just being like, people like I've known in kendama for years. And then some people who didn't even know what my name was, or who they were like, oh, that's a nice, like bought and just, they all sold.
Yeah. Unique.
Yeah. So they knew because it kind of stuck out from the rest. And that's kind of why I wanted like a mod that kind of stands out from the rest.
Yeah. Peacocking a little bit, right?
Dude, it's peacocking.
Now, I mean, you just touched on making the edit, that's like a big deal.
Yeah. I think like it's almost like 2,000 views or something right now. It came out Thursday. Yeah, the day after Valentine's Day. Just because I wanted to let everything breathe. I've dropped like kendamas before, and just like from experience, like marketing and stuff, like drop the product and then drop the video, or drop the video, then drop the thing. Don't put them out at the same time, because one is going to outshadow the other without a doubt. People are not going to watch the thing, then buy the thing right after. They will if you space it out. But so yeah. In the weeds comment there, but like,
well, your process of making that edit, like I know personally that you're, super, you go hard at it. So,
yeah.
Like your mindset as far as like making this edit, like how do you approach that?
This is 1 week of play, just like comparison. Like
you made the edit in 1 week?
Yeah. Because everything kind of happened so quickly, where it was like, hey, your mod's ready. We're thinking about dropping it in like 3 weeks. And that's where like, even like your question before, like, am I a part of like the design process, like decision making? Like, yes, but sometimes like there are like
there's wheels in motion.
There are like 7 other people that work at Krom, where it's like, hey, here's some updates, here's what's happening. And sometimes I prefer that, because like I do have a full-time job, like doing marketing for like a healthcare company, and it is nice to kind of get the stuff fed to you, and then just be able to like, they trust me to just be able to promote it in any way that I kind of feel is necessary. So it's.
So what was your mindset making this edit? Like, how do you approach that?
I knew I had a week to do it, which I hate being put under the gun pressure, because I don't land kendama tricks first try. It takes me like a long time to do a kendama trick, because like I play kendama every single day, but it's usually like talking, chill before dinner. I'm kind of just like playing with it a little bit. And like sometimes I'll play with it for like 40 minutes to an hour, but now it's just like I'm doing so much with kendama, and like the last thing I'm doing sometimes is like playing with the fucking kendama. Like I'm like talking to people about like events and coordination, and like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. That's usually where I spend most of my time. Yeah. But I love making edits, and that's like my first passion. And this is like the biggest video that I've dropped ever is like the one that just came out. Skag's mod edit on YouTube. Definitely
that's what I mean. Like, I mean, I've seen all the ones that you've made over the years, and I know that those are like, a compendium of, over a month,
and it's your art. It's
time.
Like your art. It's what it's like it's the thing you do. It's because it's when you drop a kendama and don't drop videos with it or anything. It's kind of just like it. There's not more respect, but it's just you have to, especially when it's like a signature mod. Like the part was no brainer. So I work from home 9 to 5 every single day. I'm off Saturdays and Sundays. I'm in a relationship. I have 2 cats. I own a house. Like I have kendama on the side. Like I hang out with friends, family, parents. Like I have a life outside of like kendama as well. Yeah. But the past 2 weeks of my life have just been like completely on hold because of all of this stuff.
Well, tell me how you approach this edit, like from the beginning of it.
I took 600 milligram ibuprofen. I'm not kidding. And I went out 5 days in a row, and I took 600 milligrams towards the end of it, and towards the beginning I was taking like 1 to 200. But I had to like, I'm 33 years old, and to like go hard and do tricks that like you have, I've tricks written down in like a hit list in my phone.
Did you have already a list of tricks that you wanted for your mod or for your edit?
Yes. And I knew this was like my signature edit, my signature video. So I did some of like, I did the stunner, I did the elbow, I did some of the tricks that like people like. And, but I also kind of like knew that I could push myself. And like, because of this kendama, I can do things that I previously could not do before. This is made of rubber wood, and the tama is made of rubber wood. So it's a little bit softer, and it just like the stalls lock on better. And the paint is like our super stick paint. It's called RFS. Real fucking sticky is the paint. And so with the rubber wood kind of soft, like just the wood, like the super sticky paint, like it's a trick magnet. Like, so I knew that some stuff was capable with this that was like out of my norm. But having to do it after 5 p.m. with the sun going down and being 33 and having other responsibilities, it was crunch time. I put both of our I have a 2-car garage at our house at Bryan, and I had to put both of them in the driveway for all week. I had like my studio lights set up. I had them taped off where I needed. I had like an X where I stand, and it's like, if I don't land these tricks, by the time the sun goes down, I'm taking it inside and I'm going to finish this in the garage. Yeah. So playing like for this video, I've played more kendama in the past like week than I have probably my entire life. It felt like I was on like a tour or something where it's like back to back to back every single day. But then to take it and then to physically, thank God you sit down when you edit, because I just sit down and I pumped that thing out in like 6 hours. I think it was like a day of work.
So
5 minutes.
You going through all these tricks and you know, trying to like execute this, as far as like, did you have like a time that you wanted to hit for a video? Like, does that come into your mind whenever you're making one of these?
Yeah. Cause people like, there's definitely kendama videos that are too long. There's definitely kendama videos that are too short.
What's too long and what's too short?
If you're filming a kendama like documentary or something, and it's like a sit down on YouTube and watch, make it as long as you fucking want. Make it 3 parts. In Nashville, it's like people now, you're in person, obviously, with kendama events. So people usually make announcements, have videos, that type of thing. And this is like a little small pet peeve of mine, but a lot of the videos that people are announcing stuff, they're like fucking 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
And there's like 15 videos that have to play.
Yeah.
So I'm like, use this spot as like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2
banger,
minutes,
banger, banger in 3 minutes.
And some of the videos just like, I first started when I was, and it's like, oh God, we're getting the whole story. Like I personally, this is me just doing social media and marketing. Like I would have sliced some of those videos to be like an ad to watch the full video now available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I know people didn't remember all that shit in there. And it's like, yes, this is a big deal. Yes, announcements, no hate or digs at anybody that made long videos, but it's like, there's a lot and there's an event, like, holy shit. But having said that, I knew I wanted my video to be somewhat memorable, because most of my videos of my projects are like a minute long or 40 seconds, or like I'll cram a lot of time into something little, and it's like this ball of ADHD that kind of comes out of a cannon at you. But I want it to be memorable. This one I knew I had to go a little bit harder and make it longer.
How long is it?
It's like a little over 5. It's like, I think it's 5 minutes and a couple seconds, so like some change, but it's like right on like 5 minutes. But it's because like one thing I love about the edit is like I show when I don't land tricks in the video. So like normally the kendama edits for videos, like any skate video, is like all the bangers, all the makes and everything. I like showing when I'm going for something hard and I fucking miss, and I'm like, fuck, like just because it kind of shows the progression, it shows like I don't have it like that all the time. Like sometimes I'm stressed about work, or like I'm bickering with something, and it's just like my cat pissed on the rug again. So like I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like I got
you want to see the whole of meat.
So landing the ball on the spike is not what I don't want to do right now, but I got to get that done. So yeah, this past week again has just been like insane. I find my thighs finally don't hurt.
What was the hardest trick you did?
The hardest trick is definitely the last trick. Yeah. And that's you have to watch it. I made that fake TMZ post.
What's that called?
The trick is called stunt plane, Ken flip, late Ken flip, juggle, stunt plane, fast hand. And that's basically, it's like each piece is something different.
Yeah. It's like a line.
It's literally a line. It's like if you were to ollie a stair set, tail slide a ledge, and then just like hit a rail on the way down. That's literally what I just,
Hell
bingo.
Yeah. Now you've always been gifted at editing. You know, you've always been very, very good at editing. You've always been someone who has an eye for it. Now, I mean, my assumption is that once you get to that point where you could edit, it's just like, you know, you lock in.
Plug and play, yeah.
Yeah. So did you have an idea what you wanted the edit to look like?
When I hear a song, when I know what the song is, the edit unfolds.
What
the
song?
Edit writes itself. I bought these songs off of YouTube. Specifically, they were just like, they weren't royalty free, but I paid these like two separate guys, like, I forget how much it was. Like, I think it ended up being like $200 or something, but I bought the rights to the songs just so I can like use them freely. Cause like nowadays, if I use a Travis Scott's, it's just like, I just feel like it's a little bit deeper than that. And I do look at it as like art. Like, where once upon a time, like, yeah, I would use a Kanye song or a Travis Scott song. And it's like, I was like 21, 22 doing this, but now I'm like a little bit older and I feel like a little more, I don't want to say distinguished, but like I want to give you something that like, I wanted to be an instrumental, no lyrics. I wanted all the videos, all POV, so you can like see from my eyes, like what I'm seeing. Just like playing the Kendama. I wanted it to really feel like a full blown ad for the Kendama. Like I was very much inspired almost by like a, Nike ad or something. Like the shoe, they don't talk about how good the shoe is. It's like they just show what the athlete can do with the shoe on.
They just show them kicking ass.
Just whooping ass, dude. I filmed at the EF middle school. I filmed at some parking lots nearby and shit. It was just like, and that's one thing too, like filming. Like I care about the location more than I care about the trick, to be honest, sometimes. And that's going to be a crazy take to have. But
I don't think so. Why do you think that that's crazy? I feel like that, it's the vibe of it. It builds the vibe of it.
Yes. And that's why I love it. I love like the full package of like Kendama, where sometimes, I mean, like most of the kids play Kendama are like in college. So it is like dorm rooms, like your phone leaning up against like a bottle or something and just like you're filming your shit that way. But GoPro POV specifically is my favorite way to film. And people we sponsor on our teams, I'm like, when you give us content, I give them stuff where it's like, Krom brand does do this. Krom brand is not like this. So like, if you're going to give me tricks that are POV, I don't be standing next to a trash can with the hose unwound next to it and like dead grass and shit. Go to a parking lot, go to a volleyball court, go to a parking garage, go outside, go somewhere that's like a street. Yeah. Go to like, look at Red Bull's Instagram account. Like they're not like doing shit in their kitchen. Like they're doing shit like outside on a mountain. Like go out and just go be about it.
So do you ever deal with like any sort of like, negative feedback or critiquing from, the people that give you this content that you have to edit?
Sometimes, but usually it's kind of just like, sometimes it's like, I'll share my playbook. Like if we just had a clip in January hit 1.8 million views on Instagram, it was just the perfect storm of a trick. This guy we sponsor, his name's Toto. He lives in France, and he just did this trick where like he posted on a story. It was a Saturday morning. I just like was looking on Instagram making coffee, and he like did this like put a Kendama on his head and like yanked it off really fast, and it just went into it just spiked. It was a trick shot kind of goofy thing. So he posted it on a story because it wasn't like you normally wouldn't post that to your feed. It's like, look what I landed today. It was kind of like a tongue in cheek thing. But because of social media now, I was like, that will do perfect on I messaged him. I was like, send me that clip. I'm posting it right now. So I knew that I'd like optimize it. Like it was like Saturday morning. So it was like an okay time to post. So that's when I'm like, social brains kicking in. It's a crazy snappy trick that's going to like catch your attention. Have that already. The text on screen, I was like, how's this even possible? Something that'll give you like a hook. And then the call to action, like in the copy, was like, comment a GIF as your reaction. So like the moment I posted it in the Kendama community, it started going nuts. People sharing it. But then on Instagram, if you look at your insights, it shows you like
followers and non-followers.
This thing, 1.8 million people saw it. And it's just like to see it like break out of the Kendama community and just that the ring get darker and it's like going into like just the wild. It was insane. To kick off the year with like a viral clip has been awesome. We got 1,300 followers from it, which on TikTok or like YouTube Shorts, that's one thing. It's a little bit easier because like on Instagram, it's a little more of like a vanity kind of like a resume. Like people are more cautious of what they put on their store. Their it's like feed, and it's like almost more like a resume, I guess, type of thing.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it at least. So to get people to do that and just like follow on Instagram, it was really good. But I say that to answer your question about like the editing and stuff, feedback. I'll give feedback when social platforms change. Like when, we post videos long ways and then Reels change that. So it's like, I got to get on the guys and girls on the team and be like, when you give me stuff, try to cut it so it's like 1920 by 10 or whatever versus the traditional stuff.
Yeah.
Or, usually for video, it would like fade in and be a logo presented by. Fucking cut all that off. When you give me clips, you need to right when the ball is getting on the spike and the trick is starting. and then like we'll put the rest of it on YouTube. So like usually when algorithms change or like social just kind of like favors one thing or another style of content, that's when I'll kind of like go to the team Discord. I'm like, we're going to be starting to do like, from my Kendama, I knew that I was going to do a reel. I was going to do an unboxing. I was going to do a carousel. And then also like every channel it was going to go to. It was very like optimized the way that it was spread. But yeah, giving like social feedback now, it's like less about this is what I would do. But it's like, it literally tells you on Instagram that if you bookmark something and share it, that counts more than a like. So we need to make content that are going to make people want to share it to somebody. Like, did you fucking see this? Or something where it's like, bookmark this because the sale's coming up, or you want to just give somebody
a reason.
You want to give the viewer
that.
something else to do while they're consuming the content.
So,
how the hell did I get to that?
I don't know.
Editing.
Editing.
Yes.
Full circle.
Yeah.
So you got this pro mod. It's for sale right now. Krom.
Krom.
Yeah.
Kendama.com.
Krom. Go buy it right now.
Buy it right now.
Now, like
we make royalties from this. When you buy a Kendama, it goes directly to the pro player. I get a little piece of it. So it gets, it's feeding my cats so they could piss on the rug.
I mean, are you allowed to can you go into do you what percentage of royalties do you get? Are you allowed to say that
right now? I don't want to do that. What?
I mean, I want to know, if you sell these things, will you make like a decent amount from them, or is it kind of just more spreading it to, kind of playing the long game of it all? Like, I'm not asking you what your fucking checks are.
I'm not telling you how much money I make, Chad.
No, I get that. But I mean, I mean, is there an opportunity for people to make a good bit of money if you sell out a Kendama? Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to pay off your fucking house, but it's enough to, it makes an impact.
Definitely, dude. I mean, think about it. If we made I'm not going to do this math. I'm just going to just yell at numbers. Like if we made 1,000 Kendamas and it was your pro model and we give you $5 per mod sold, if you sell 1,000 of them at $5, that's easy math, but I'm not getting into it right now. So well,
that's cool then.
So you get a piece of it. Some companies will give you if it's a collaboration, I think they'll make a piece of it. If it's a signature mod, it's $2. If it's a pro, it's $5. And the numbers are different for everybody. Whatever, companies can do. Some Kendama companies are bigger than the others. Some probably don't give royalties, but they sell the mod and get your name out there. So it's recognition that way. But now Krom takes care of their players. Krom's very, very mindful of that.
So what's the goal, after this? Obviously we're at a point where, this was the goal, but you made it to this goal, what's your next goal for all this?
Honestly, it's gonna be Kendama, obviously. Still gonna grow, still gonna be in the scene, still gonna travel. Still gonna make more mods. I mean, we already have another one of these in the works. I don't want to leak too much, but next year we're gonna be doing I think a reverse colorway where it's gonna be gold and then brown rusty chains and accent marks and stuff.
I thought you weren't going to tell any details. You said
we'll see. I feel good. This is a fun podcast.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting to is there's opportunity. This isn't just you get a mod and then you check that box and it's done.
Yeah.
There's opportunity for you to make other mods.
Yeah. Cause there was a good chance that we sell this and it just people were oh, cool. Congrats, Bryan. Don't buy it. That's very possible too. It's not what's happening. Thank goodness. But but it is very possible. So it kind of just depends. Cause there's been people that get one pro model and that's it. They stop playing. And there's other people that there's some people that aren't really top tier Kendama players, but they keep making content and they're active in the community. So they get a mod once a year. And it's really kind of speaking on behalf, as a manager of a Kendama company, being in the industry, it's really, Kendama companies give you the platform, they give you the products, and it's really kind of what you want to make of it. And it's really, that's it. It's what you want to do with it. Because there's sometimes you give a Kendama and people just focus on the tricks. And I always told the homies, when I was young, I was get into something that gives back to Kendama. Don't just be about the tricks, because this is a sport. As soon as you stop throwing Hail Marys, somebody else is going to keep throwing Hail Marys. Yeah. So get into photography, get into video, get into editing, be able to water this garden so we can all keep enjoying it. Kendama is a small pie, and it's you can't be greedy about it. You have to share and pull your weight and do that kind of stuff. And it's a wild little community, but I'm very fortunate and blessed to be a part of it and wouldn't want to be a part of anything else.
Wow. A whole ride.
Big time, dude.
A whole ride, 12 years.
Yep.
And here we are with this thing. And now it's doing well though. It's selling good.
It's selling. Yeah. It's nice too, because it's going to be in some shops in Japan. So just knowing that a toy with my with my name on it's going to be sold in on shelves and stuff. It's very surreal. They're like more like boutique style, like shops and stuff like we're friends with. But yeah, to just even see people like give a fuck is really like,
you have like random
cool.
people tagging you in these
Yeah.
that like buy these that you just don't know.
Literally, when I was in Nashville, I was at the Krom booth, and we had like a few of my mods left. There's like this girl and her boyfriend looking around, and she was like, "Oh, it's kind of nice," and I was like, "Oh, it's actually like yeah," and just was describing like my mod to her. She's like, "Yeah, cool, yeah, I'll do this one." Like I had no idea who I was, missed the premiere of the video, and just all that kind of stuff. I still bought it. So I'm just like, at least now I know it's not like it's the name can move it, and also like the look and the style can move it too. So
Yeah, it's not just like friends buying.
yeah, it's not a one trick pony. Yeah, no, it's not my mom buying a bunch.
Did she buy a couple?
She bought one. Yeah,
Ah, come on.
Carol got one. You got one. Cody
Dawn,
got
did
one.
Dawn get one too? No, I saw a lot of people getting it, and it's cool to see. I'm glad to, it's good to see. It means a lot whenever other people do it, but it's like whenever you got, as I said before, it means an extra bit whenever like your good friends want to support it as well.
People are starting to get them now, like in their mailboxes, and it's like what you just said. It's so flattering seeing the friends and the homies and the family like coming through and buying it. But now, like in Europe and stuff, people are starting to get their like Skags mods, and like seeing like the young guns like play with it and like rip and shred. It's like it makes me feel like there's a kid out there riding like a Reynolds board, but it's a Skags board, and it's like that's wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm proud of you about it.
Appreciate
That's why we had to do this 6 years later than because like I didn't even I wanted to listen to what we talked about before, but I almost cringed just by the caption that I wrote for the podcast. I remember I'm gonna pull this up real quick. It says, "This week I sat down with one of my best friends. Bryan and I have been rocking since 9th grade." You know what I mean? And I'm just like, but that shows where we started from, and it shows where we are today. We're refined.
Exactly.
We elevated our game, so to speak.
Gentlemen.
No pun, but I'm. It makes like shit like this is motivating to me because
cool.
like, you put so much into this and like, you finally get a little bit back and you finally like, get that validation that you do deserve after all these years.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it fills up your power meter like Mega Man probably I would feel.
It does. It feels good.
Like whenever I get Edgar Snyder in here, I go, blah, 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 and I'm like, let's
insane.
fucking
Let's
ride,
go.
baby. I got Sally Wiggin right there.
That's right.
But yeah, we're,
Looking at me, I know.
we're all proud of you for this. This is a long time coming because we definitely gave you a hard time about it for many years.
Yeah, you guys weren't the most, except for the record. Yeah, Barry and the guys were not the most receptive. Like,
I feel like I was
sick, Bri.
I feel
We
like
love
I
you.
was.
They didn't say things like that.
I feel like I was somewhat accepting of
Barry,
it, but like
Barry was accepted. You bought a few.
I bought
You
a
saw
few.
that sweet mintberry crunch, or did you sell that?
Got that. I got
That
a
shit's
pill.
sick. Got that on
I
ice.
got my first one that
I got that here.
I bought off of a Japanese website. You bought it for me, but it was a regular like cedar color one or maple, whatever the hell.
Holy
what it
shit,
was,
I forgot about
with
that.
the pink with the black stripe.
Roots, Kendamas.
No, that one wasn't a Roots one.
Yeah, it was.
No,
Wasn't it?
I think that one was a Kendama USA one. But
maybe it
then
was then.
the Roots the Crunchberry one was a Roots and Grain Theory collaboration.
Sweets, yeah, collaboration.
No,
Yeah, it was.
no, it
You're gonna
was.
fucking tell me which Kendama company collab with another Kendama?
I got it from Rob from Roots. I remember it. I spoke to him and I was like, "Yo, dude, let me get it." And it was a grain.
Call him.
It was a homegrown collab. That's what it was. That's what it was. Homegrown Roots,
Dude,
And
clear your throat and find that for me at some point. I gotta peep that.
it's right over there. I got it. I'll pull it out. But
I got these for you.
did you bring me these?
Yeah, I did. Here's some Krom socks, organic,
Oh,
nice and comfy.
I like the bones.
Then I got you, the Jody Barton collaboration.
Oh my God, Jody
Yeah.
Barton.
Yeah, Jody
I'm gonna
Barton.
have to get her on here.
Yeah.
Is that a female, right? Jody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jody
Never
Barton.
know.
No, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, the skeletons and shit. Halloween.
I love the orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is right up my alley.
Beetlejuice socks. Have you walking around here?
Let's go.
nice
I'm
socks.
pumped about it.
Got you, brother.
Bri, I'm pumped about it. I'm pumped about this. I'm pumped about this conversation we had. It went very, very well.
Thank you.
Now, do you think there's anything we missed with this? You want to get to the ending segment?
Let's ending segment. I was like, I hope we're still going to do.
What do you think? I'm not
I
going to
didn't
have you
know.
do it? Come
I didn't
on,
know.
Bri. Grow up.
No, I'm excited.
Anytime that I have Antoinette on, I'm like, all right, we got to get to the ending segment. She's like, I'm not doing this again.
Nat,
Yeah,
you have
spoiling
to do it.
All right, so ending segment that I do with everyone is an ending segment called Desert Island Questions. All right, so Desert Island Questions whenever I go... I almost had a stroke. Desert Island Questions whenever I have... Desert island questions is whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island and use until they starve to death and die. First category, 3 movies.
All right, we're going to go old school. Mm-hmm. We're going to go Dude, Where's My Car? Mm-hmm. We're going to go... Dude, what's like a...
Austin Powers?
Austin Powers, yeah. I'll do that again. Can the trilogy count as one?
Yeah, I'll give you all of it.
We'll do that. When's the last time you watched Dude, Where's My Car, you think?
Been a while.
You're probably like, what the fuck?
No, it was a good one. I liked it. And then, okay, second category. I usually ask people books, but I'm not going to have people books. If you had to tell people to watch 3 edits that you love, what would they be?
That's a great question. I would say you have to watch the one that got me into it, which was Colin Sander Edit 8. That was the one where Zach, Colin, and Turner were playing with like.
Is that
the
one he was using in that?
No, that's Edit 9.
Edit 9. Come on, Edit 9.
That's good math.
See, yeah.
No, that's when like it was all in Pittsburgh, and that's when they were throwing it, rolling it up the French fries, and like all the like at the courthouse in Pittsburgh, and yeah, that was the one that changed my life literally. So I would say Colin Sander Edit 8 is the big one. Kendama USA Japan Tour 2011 is also just like the most otherworldly type of just nostalgia at this point, and I'm gonna say third one's fucking mine.
Well,
Skag's mod, dude. Watch mine.
It's not yours, give someone else some shine. Who made a sick ass edit?
I'm gonna say there's so many people probably just being like,
that's all right. I'll throw a name out there because I remember the one edit that I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
I always enjoy Cooper Eddies.
Yo, Coop, that's
Yeah,
right.
I always enjoyed those ones.
That's
like,
right, we did.
And I like that. It's just because like the editing styles. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And
Coop's
that's what's
the
so
boy.
cool about it all. It's because everyone got their own flavor to it.
Dude, shout out Coop. Coop's room. Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Coop's room is the meanest Kendama edit of all time. Dude literally built like a fake room and filmed it all like almost like a Lyrical Lemonade video. It's
Super
check
cool.
out Coop's room. It's seriously fucking crazy.
Like that's how like
was a good call.
I'm not a big I'm not really into it, but like that's it was so good that I
sent it to
remember.
you. I was like, watch this. Like,
yeah, it was insane.
Yeah,
it's
a good one.
It's wild. Do you think that the progression of social media has cut back on edits because like realistically like posts are like
Oh my
edits
God.
almost?
Yeah, big time. Like it's like, dude, when I go on, we don't Kendama trips now. Like filming, when you go on trips, it used to be about like the content, and, like the video afterwards, like the tour, the trip. Now I just do bite-sized clips on social, and I use them because I'll film content, but then I'll edit it slightly differently for like TikTok. I'll edit slightly differently for like an Instagram reel, that type of thing. But significantly, yes. Like now it's all about the social clips. You have like some hardcore like OG Kendama players that are still like, I'm dropping one edit a year, almost like a stand-up special or like a part, but a little bit of both, but primarily yes is the social.
Okay, that's good. Okay,
it's a good call, Coop.
Is there any like celebrities that are like that are professional at all?
Adam 22 was into it for a while. The homie from No Jumper. There's like him alone. He's gotten like Dennis Rodman to spike it. Like a bunch of like SoundCloud rappers.
I just didn't know if there was like any skaters.
Golden State Warriors. Boo Johnson has a signature mod with Sweets Kendamas.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, Garrett or. There's a few other, a pro for Creature Skateboards also has a signature model with Sweets Kendamas.
That's dope.
And like Sweets is a really cool thing where it's a Sweets mob where it's like they have a pro BMX rider, Reed Stark, they have Boo Johnson, they have like David Garrett. I'm fucking up his name, dude. That's so on me. But they have a pro skier, pro snowboarder. They have like Sweets Mob Edit is actually very cool too. Check out Sweets Mob Edit. But yes, I would say big time celebrities that like love it and still post it. No, I mean like there's clips of like the Golden State Warriors all spiking a Kendama. There's clips of like Shaquille O'Neal getting a Kendama from someone from Sweets Kendama, gifting it to him. Like Theo Vaughn, like someone ran into him at the airport. Like
that's sick.
Theo actually, he had one in the back there too. It's a Lotus Kendama, I think,
on his old studio.
Yeah,
that's dope.
So seeing that's dope. Like seeing that's like that's the coolest.
Okay, third question: 3 CDs.
3 CDs. Linkin Park Reanimation is going, no doubt. I should just do Meteor and Hybrid Theory.
Give you all of them.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say Drop Dead Gorgeous, In Vogue. I'll just go cover to cover on that one. And Castle Grayskull to Live His Brutes.
All good. They've supposedly going to be coming out with music. I've been waiting.
Jeremiah sent me something on Christmas and said Merry Christmas. So there were like studio. I don't know if there's any vocals on it, but he sent me like a few things.
Yeah, the little snippets that they put are pretty nasty.
They're pissed.
Yeah, they are. Okay, third to last question is the death row meal. So the death row meal, you get an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. What would they be?
Appetizer, I'm going to go mozzarella sticks because I'm Italian and I just love them. I'm going to say food. A 99 from DeCarlo's is straight up. Like I worked at this Italian fruit market my entire life. I worked there when I found Kendama.
Honestly, I just had one the other day again, and like, you know, DeCarlo's is. I got to get them on. I feel, because
That would be sick.
it's insane that they are still making these hoagies that are literally the size of your head, and they're not like inflating the price to make it insane. I went to this place in Glassport. I ain't even going to give it no shine because it was like a
You say the
$22
name.
hoagie.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Oh, it's the best ever."
Yep.
We went there. Shit was mediocre. It was mid. All right. You go to DeCarlo's, you spend less than $12 and you ain't eating it all.
Feed your family. Like
Feed your family for
dude,
2 days.
Yeah, straight up. That's
yeah.
it. The Carlos 99, no tomato, everything else on.
Wet on the side.
Wet on the side.
Wet on the side. Okay. Dessert.
Dessert. I'm not a big dessert guy too much. I would say,
Grow up, Brian. Just tell me something.
dude, what if I ate for dessert something that wasn't dessert? Like, what if I just like
That's fine.
mowed a bag of Doritos?
That's good.
I'm doing that because I'm a little white trash too on the inside. So
All
I
right,
want
that's
that.
good.
Maybe fun. Yeah, it's a Slim Jim.
That's a good it's a Slim Jim.
Maybe.
okay.
That's my last meal. Give me some.
I know. Just put it all in there. Okay. Second to last question. You're getting ready to go to Amsterdam. You're going to get a snack from the gas station on your way. What is it?
In Amsterdam?
No,
Or,
not
going
in
to Amsterdam. Let's say,
Yeah,
okay,
just any snack. Going anywhere. We're going to the cabin in a couple weeks. What are you going to get for a snack on the way up?
I'm gonna say, dude, it's the weirdest. Like, I like Chex Mix a lot. Like Chex Mix.
It's picked on here a lot.
Yeah, I like it. Specifically, like the cheddar is always fire. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep 100 with that.
Okay, that's
Usually,
good.
I would say Dramamine too, but that's not a snack. I get a car sick like a child.
Okay. The last question I ask everyone: if you could have a conversation, anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
I would love to have a conversation with Matty Matheson.
Oh, it
I
would be
think
great
he's
to
just
talk
like,
with.
I love the way I love his style. I love
a
the way
fun
he
guy.
talks. Love his personality. Like it's Matty Matheson. Like I thought of that answer. I listen to the podcast like every week. So anytime this comes up, I'm always like, I have to say Matty Matheson if next time I get back on the podcast. So
That's a
Matty
good
Matheson,
answer.
I know you're listening.
Yeah, come
Let's
on.
chill. You
Gotta
should come.
get you on here.
Come chill here.
Come on, come chill.
pretty
Make
fun.
some food.
Yeah.
All right. Now, take a second. Tell everyone where they could buy your pro mod. Tell everyone where they could follow you, where they could watch all your shit, the whole thing.
Yeah, everything. I mean, it would mean the world. Thank you again, Chad, for having me on. Skags Mod, the first of its kind, available now at kromkendama.com. When you purchase it, a piece goes to the players. So thank you very much. And then watch the edit. It's on YouTube, Skags Mod edit. Please just with the links in the bio or something. But like, yeah,
It'll
check
be
out
on
the
there.
mod. Check out the photography with it. Shout out Fernando. He did a fantastic job with that. And then watch the video. Please leave a comment. It means a lot. And you can follow me, Bryan_Scagline, Bryan with the Y, on Instagram and all socials. Chad, you're the fucking man, dude.
You're the man, Brian. I love you.
I love you, buddy.
Everyone else that's listening, I appreciate it as usual. We're back each and every week with a great person in the city doing very great and interesting things. Thank yous all for listening. Call yous right back.